Hello, everybody. My name is Michael Schiesel. I'm a psychologist here at iSquare. iSquare is a company which is devoted to human experience, insights. We're currently running a couple of studies about the experience of Corona. I think everybody in this world is in this experience, and we try to give you data-based insights about the psychology of of this pandemic. First of all, we shouldn't forget that Corona is not only a something which is a virus. Also, the transmission of Corona, for instance, via the media, but all other contacts you have, this is also transmission. It also affects us completely. It affects us in our psyche. At iSquare, we have a framework which we tend to call neurosemiotics. With neurosemiotics, we mean that everything which is such a sign, a semiotic, a semion, which orientates us, affects our neural system, and in other words, also affects our body. So there are different levels in the human psyche. One could be coined perception. These are all the senses we have out there. So we have perception moments now of Corona, mostly via the media, as you have this moment of perceptual experience. They first elect something which could be called, some call it system one, we tend to call it implicit. So it affects the nervous system. It affects, for instance, the so-called somatic nervous systems. This is, for instance, the sympathetic nervous system. It works via the formatio reticularis, and it affects the body. It affects the stomach. It affects things like that. A second level could be seen on the central nervous system, all these parts of the brain which are, for instance, connected with feelings. That's the amygdala, but also other systems. There's the so-called pain systems. There are the so-called joy systems. They also have their unique neurotransmitters, and they are also affected by a sign like Corona. Maybe there's a third system we tend to coin explicit, or system 2, which is more related with thinking, and also this thinking system is connected with Corona. All three systems are there if Corona is out there. So it's like in our somatic nervous system, in the deeper implicit central nervous system, and it's there on our reflexive cognition each time. And I'm coughing now. I could think, do I already have Corona? To bring light on these phenomena, we can't only survey. Surveys are good, where we do rating scale. People say something, and this is very good. But we also have to get deeper. One way of getting deeper we call implicit measurements. I'm going to present you now a study we've done just recently in the US, where we used one of these implicit indicators. We call it brand react. So that's my little talk here. Here you see the study. You could also download that from the iSquare website under the Corona Center, the office where Max Marie Wilmot, Dr. Matthias Rotensee, and Julian Seufert. So let's walk through the study. So what do we want to do with the study? We wanted to get a deeper understanding of the emotional reactions to COVID-19. It was an implicit study about the coronavirus and the flu in the US. Up here you see an artwork which was done by Dennis Rudolph, a Berlin artist. It should show the four psychological stages of corona. We identified 4 psychological stages. The first one is the turmoil, which is the initial state. The second one is regression. The third one is hyperstrength. And the fourth one is neonormality. I will go into these sections a little bit later. So these are, but now I want to come to the study and explain that. What have we done in the study? As said, we were doing this implicit measurements in the US. Implicit here means that we are referring to a paradigm which is a dual forced choice task where people could give an answer on a computer screen and their reaction times are assessed, and these are the main results. So we see them up here. What we have done to get the relative data is we compared corona with flu. So you see here the corona data, and here you see the flu data. All in all, we can see that corona is a massively bigger threat than flu is. It elicits a lot of fear. It is very unclear. It is connected with crisis on the level of sick and infection. It is a little bit, but only a little bit stronger than flu. But to take the data from threat and fear, we would conclude that corona severely hit the US psyche. It's a mortality salient stimulus, so it reminds of death. This is triggering highest emotions, for instance, arousal, that is more the somatic nervous reaction, like it affects the sympathicus. It creates anxiety on the perception level. It creates sharpened perceptions, defensive thinking, protectiveness of the family. This is all part of the stage of the turmoil, which is the first stage, and that hit the US very strongly and very much. Here in that paper, you could read through that bit by bit and understand that better. In this short talk, I want to highlight on a big difference we found, since we also researched the phenomena of corona in Germany. We could compare the data with the US. So we find that the threat is higher in the US at the moment. Also the fear is higher. So it hit the US stronger. Could have 2 possible reasons. Either there's a cultural differences, maybe caused by a different relations, for instance, to the state for external help. So that would mean that in the US they are really in greater fear than in Germany. Could be also that's a little bit a different stage in the timing. So could be that the Germans already went a little bit back to regression and are not so much on the turmoil stage as they are in the US. Here you see the stages again. We have turmoil, regression, hyperstrength, and neonormality. Right now, the US is in the turmoil. As said, it has this big arousal impact. It's an arousal which is also called tense or pulse arousal. It's the arousal people have if they are bungee jumping. But now, not for joy and for pleasure, now it's deadly serious. This has following like authors like Greenberg, who have an interesting, developed an interesting theory called terror management theory. They would argue that this addresses something which is salient about your own mortality, and once this is triggered, now there's a big mechanism who tries to protect what could be called reproduction or sexuality, in other words. So people try to protect their families, they try to protect everything which is possible about their reproduction. That causes this intense behavior. The emotions are 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 sharp, they are very fragmented, they're about lust and about hunger. So the people start buying toilet paper on large scale, start buying rice, start buying pasta. With bigger things, they try to buy things which are protective, for instance, the masks, but also weapons and things like that. We believe that this is now the stage where the US is. The next stage is more the regression. We can't do anything. This is more a go back into a laid back position. This is now maybe already higher in Germany. The responsibility is delegated to the states, and people go back into their own homes. And then we will see two other stages: the hyperstrength and the new normality. Those stages, they aren't necessarily serial. So one person could also be in these stages, and we'll see how they develop. So this was my short talk about COVID-19 and an attack on the US psyche. You could also read the study on iSquare's website. Thank you so much for listening. Take care. Stay healthy. Bye-bye.